Hey guys, welcome to the Daily Word Bible Study, a plain and simple book by book, chapter by chapter, and verse by verse study through the entire Bible. We are in Isaiah chapter 9. Now, this chapter is a very interesting, I should stop saying interesting because they're all interesting. As we study the Word of God and glean the revelation that He's given us, it's all interesting. But I'm going to say it's exciting because, again, as He is predicting, warning Israel and Judah of their sin, he is also telling of the promises, prophecies, and in this case, the coming Messiah. So let's get into it. Isaiah chapter 9. I'll start at verse 1 again. Nevertheless, the gloom of the distress of the land will not be like the former times when he humbled the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. But in the future he will bring honor to the way of the sea, and to the land of the east of the Jordan, and Galilees of the nations. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light, and light is dawned, and those living in the land of darkness. So this prophecy was fulfilled when Jesus began his ministry. The honor was that he was walking in Galilee. He was walking in these regions that he is saying that would be honored. Right now, it is doomed because of the judgment that is coming. Verse 3, he says, "You have enlarged the nation and increased its joy. The people have rejoiced before you as they rejoice at harvest time, and as they rejoice when dividing spoils. For you have shattered their oppressive yoke, and the rod on their shoulders, and the staff of the oppressor, just as you did in the day of Midian. For the trampling boot of battle and the bloody garments of war will be burned as fuel for the fire." Now, verse 6, "For a child will be born for us, and a son will be given to us, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be named Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Fire, Prince of Peace. The dominion will be vast, and his prosperity will never end. He will reign on the throne of David and over his kingdom, to establish and sustain it with justice and righteousness from now and forevermore. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will accomplish this." Now, this is one of the most profound prophecies of the birth of Jesus, right? I mean, for unto us a child will be born for us. Now, we saw that a virgin would give birth. Let's see. Let's go back to what chapter 6. Oh, where you at? Was it 6? I believe it was chapter 6, right? Not 7. Okay, let's see. Let's go here. I want to show you the two prophecies. Now, these prophecies probably were spoken at different times too, but where is it? Chapter 6. Here we go. No, chapter 7. I'll get there. Let's see where you at. Where? Oh, here he is. Okay, chapter 7, verse 14 says, "Therefore the Lord Himself will give you a sign: the virgin will conceive, have a son, and name him Emmanuel. Okay, so this the prophecy about, of course, Mary, the mother of Jesus. And so now we see here, we're talking about the Messiah. So in other words, there was the birth of the miraculous birth of Jesus through a virgin, through Mary. Now we're going to see this is the Messiah himself, that Jesus would be the Messiah, for a child would be born for us, and then a son would be given. Now the fact that he says a son would be given, well, what did that mean, the son would be given? So whose son? Now the word son in the Bible has a couple of meanings that you need. There is a word for to be born of. So for example, I have 5 children, 4 by my first marriage, 1 by the second. So they're born of me. They're born, okay? Then there is the son that denotes a relationship. So that's why I mentioned I have 5 children. 4 were born of me, but all 5 of my children because of the relationship, okay? So when we're talking about us and our relationship with God being born again, we are born of God, thus we are children of God. But then there is the term son that as we grow into and become of age, so to speak, where we become an equal relationship with God as sons. Think of it as when you see businesses, Williams and Sons Air Conditioning and Heating, Smith and Sons Plumbing, Horwicks and Son Law Firm. So what has happened? You have the father, and then the child comes up, and when they reach age and maturity, they come into an equal relationship that they enjoy and share with the father. They're equal. That's why in the business you see it equal. So think of that when you think about in terms of the son. So from our perspective, we are born of God, thus children of God. But then there's gonna come a time when we're gonna reach a age of maturity where we are co-heirs with God. Well, we already co-heirs with Him, but in terms of now the sonship, okay, where we share throughout all eternity. This is the great promises that we have with God, that the immense grace and mercy shown to us. Okay. Now, so we have that because of Jesus. And when he makes this statement, for a child would be born for us, and the son would be given to us. Okay? So now when the term son, that Jesus is the Son of God, so now you kind of have you enter in a different relationship, because it is a relationship between the Father and Son of a birth that never took place. So probably best we do it this way. Let's go to John 1. So this is John chapter 1. Now this is what it says right here. Now John, by the way, gives us this revelation. Okay. All the Gospels, of course, give us revelation, but John revelation goes back before time itself. And so he says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, that life was the light of men. That light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. So this relationship here, if you go back, what John has given us is this revelation as you go back in eternity past. You go back past the creation of man, the creation of the earth, the creation of time and space itself. You travel back as far as it is possible to travel back. What he's saying is you're going to run into the Word. So what is this Word? So, right, that's important. So what is this Word? So you're going to travel back as far as you possibly can, and then this Word, you're going to run into this Word. So what is this Word? God. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. So what you will see is not the glory of God the Father, but you're going to see the Son, the revelation of the Son. In other words, God, as He has chosen to reveal Himself to creation, or possibly reveal Himself at all, is through the person of the Word. This is when you get into the Trinity, right? The Trinity, the mystery of the Trinity. And let's not get into whether or not the word Trinity is in the Bible or not. The concept certainly is there. Here it is. Even if you want to dispute the idea of the Trinity, you have to explain then why is the Word, why did it say the Word was with God and the Word was God? All things were created by the Word. And then you go to Genesis 1 and God created the heavens and the earth. So there's this mystery here. So that's why we talk about the Son having this eternal relationship from a birth that never took place, but on the same equal level, right? Equal level, sharing dominion, sharing equality with God. Okay? Right. So that's why so what you see in eternity past is the Word. So then we come down now to verse 14, and the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen His glory, the glory as of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. For John bore witness about Him and cried out, this is of He of whom I said, who comes after me ranks before me, because He was before me. For from His fullness we have all received grace upon grace. For the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God, the only God who is at the Father's side has made Him known. Now, let me see something here. Okay, this is the English Standard Translation. Let me do this. Let's see something here. This is the Holman Christian Standard, my favorite translation, the Holman Christian Standard Translation. I just want to read verse 18 from this. Verse 18 says, no one has ever seen God, the one and only Son, the one who is at the Father's side, has revealed Him. Now, this probably is a more common translation. Here, they choose, this is the English version, says, no one has ever seen God, the only God who is at the Father's side. He has made Him. Here he says in verse 18, no one has ever seen God, the one and only Son who is at the Father's side has seen Him. Okay. I'm not going to get into the battles of which translation is more correct. Both reveal the same, and that's what I wanted you to see. Both reveal the same. Okay. But again, notice that he says back here that it's the Son. So the Son. Now, the reason why I said that, let me go back to Isaiah. Okay, so Isaiah, where huh, Isaiah verse 6. For a child would be born for us, and a son would be given to us. Now I'm going to get to this obviously later, because this goes into the millennial reign, so I'll get to that in the next study for sure. So when he says a child would be born for us, now notice he says for us, so the purpose of Jesus coming, okay, that states here the purpose of Jesus coming. For a child would be born for us. That's important, because when you look at how people are trying to how they are trying to so minimize Jesus. For example, why did Jesus die? So if you're not reading the Bible, then you are totally confused. And I'll give you an example of this. Many years ago, and by the way, this was a Christian organization that they did this. It was I think it was the focus on the family. I forgot the kids program, and they went back in time, and they would go back in time. So it's kind of a fantasy. But again, I hate when Christians don't know their own Bible, and so so in the child mind, they went back and they saw Jesus, but yet they were trying to stop Jesus from being crucified, just like the tribulation movies. Sidebar, no, the tribulation movies, right? You ever see these Christian tribulation movies, and all of a sudden you got the tribulation force that's going to stop the Antichrist. Why would any Christian do that if they was alive during that time? You're actively trying to stop prophecy? All right, I digress. But my point is that when you understand this is the prophecy here. And by the way, Jesus even rebuked Peter one time, and Jesus was saying, I'm getting ready to be crucified. And Peter was like, no, not you, Jesus. Jesus turned to Peter and says, get thee behind me, Satan, for you are an offense. You don't serve the things of God, but the things of man. So my point is that understanding that Jesus was born for us, for the purpose of giving his life, for the purpose, see, of dying. So if you have any other doubt other than that, or opposition to that, you are fighting against the will of God. I often say this about Peter when he tried to, Jesus, don't offer yourself. He was trying to rebuke Jesus. Well, what if Jesus had listened to Peter? Right? Where would that have worked out for us in eternity? Right? But notice, for a child would be born for us, and a son will be given to us. The son will be given. So who is that son? You go all the way back to the beginning of before time itself, where the existence, because God always was. So you go all the way back before the creation of time and space. Jesus is there. That the Word that was with God, and the Word that was God, the Word that created all things, and the Word that became flesh, that's the Son that is given. And of course, why is he given? We'll get to that in the next study, guys. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comment section below. All comments are welcome. Till next time I see you in the next study.